License plate recognition gate controller, presented by ZK Access. So what is LPR? LPR, or license plate recognition, is primarily used in access control applications for vehicles entering parking lots. This is most often typical of any homeowners association or any small business park where employees who come to work each day need a place to park, and sometimes those spots are occupied by unauthorized visitors if access is not restricted to those lots. So license plate recognition is an excellent solution to control vehicular access to parking lots, no different than perhaps a card reader or fingerprint reader might deny access to a building. So once the vehicle approaches the barrier, the license plate recognition camera will read the license plate via its optical character recognition engine. And then if there's a match, the LPR camera will either open up a 12-volt relay, which will signal the gate to open, or it could also send a Wiegand output signal to an access control panel, in which case the panel can then open up the gate. Here's a license plate recognition gate controller in action, working at a parking facility. The LPR camera is embedded inside that small white cabinet that stands in front of the gate. You can see how quickly the gate opens upon a positive license plate match. Now, of course, for this to operate, the license plate needs to be in the database of the LPR camera. For those who don't have a license plate in the database, they will need an alternate means to open up the barrier. Notice the vehicle right now, the driver had to stick his hand out the window and use his card to open up the gate because his license plate was not recorded in the LPR database. Those motorists whose license plates are in the database, again, you can see how quickly they're able to access the barrier. A common question is, will the license plate recognition camera read my license plate in this state or this country or that country? The LPR unit is used worldwide. Here's a listing of some of the countries that are in Europe, Middle East, and Asia. Notice the list is quite extensive. Our LPR system also works throughout Central and South America. Again, notice the many countries where the unit has been tested and operating. If there ever is a country where our LPR is not working, we can quickly test associated license plates from that region and then update the firmware accordingly. Here's a listing of the countries within the Asia Pacific region, USA and Canada, and within the United States, all 50 states are recognized by our LPR camera. So let's have a look at the two options with regards to our LPR gate controller. We have two housings available. One is a camera-only housing. The camera will be mounted to a pole, to a wall, or to the ceiling. MSRP is $5,995. Notice the camera is quite compact, elegant, IP67 waterproof. So this is absolutely sound tight and can be installed outdoors. The other housing option is the cabinet, which was portrayed in the video I just showed. The cabinet stands about 2 feet tall, is about 8 by 8 inches in width and length, and the MSRP is $6,395. Again, customers don't have to use both. They use either the camera housing or the cabinet housing. Both are IP67 waterproof. The cabinet is made of iron and stainless steel, so it's quite rugged as well as attractive. Let's now take a closer look at the camera unit itself, which is an all-in-one standalone access control terminal. Of course, the unit comes with a power supply and an I/O board, a main board, a status LED to see if the unit is actually operational, a motorized lens. A tremendous convenience with our LPR gate controller is the lens can actually be controlled remotely through any PC's browser. The LPR camera also has an infrared LED. This way, license plates can be read at nighttime as well as daytime. All of this in an all-in-one unit, which is very similar to the entire product line of ZK Access standalone readers, because whether the reader is reading a license plate, or a fingerprint, or a face, or a card, or a finger vein, all our standalone units do one of two things. They either open a 12-volt relay to open up the peripheral, whether it be a gate, or a door, or an elevator, and so on. Or, if the user needs to have time zones and individually manage access rights, we can send the output via Weekend to an external access control panel, whether it be ZK or an existing third-party access control panel. All our standalone readers work the exact same way on the back end. The only thing that differs them is the actual sensor that either people or license plates are used to authenticate. Here we have an image of the interface of the web server of the LPR. There is no software. The built-in web server allows administrators to access the unit from any PC browser, provided they have administrative credentials. The LPR camera is very fast, very easy to set up. You don't even need to be there physically, because with the remote control of the lens, you can operate the camera from remote areas, whether it be your office or home, wherever it may be. That gives you the ability to remotely control the zoom and the focus without even needing to be at the camera. The LPR camera also provides plug-and-play connectivity for very fast setup. We provide waterproof plug-and-play circular connectors. You'll notice that there are connections for TCPIP communication, inputs and outputs such as Weekend, and of course power. So we provide a very easy installation, and you don't need to open up the unit. These cables plug in very, very easily. As mentioned before, there's a built-in web server which allows administrators to access the LPR camera from remote locations. All they need to do is log in with their administrative credentials. They then can customize the viewing, they can remotely control the lens, they can control the zoom for clarity of the license plate, they can select the region where the unit is being installed, whether it be within the United States or another country. This way we optimize the firmware for the plates in that specific region. And of course we have the ability to do testing with various plates. So how does it work? Well, the camera extracts the plate number via an OCR engine. It then converts it to a CSV flat file for matching. This also makes enrollment quite easy, because administrators simply need to do is just enter in the alphanumeric of the license plate. There's no need for image capture, image comparison, because it's all OCR driven. You can also select multiple states from which vehicle owners will be coming from. And we provide free updates to the firmware as well. As far as installing the units, we often recommend installing the LPR camera 7 feet from the barrier, whether it be the camera housing or the stand-up freestanding enclosure housing. Often 7 feet is the best viewing. You can place the unit in the front of the vehicle for front placed license plates, or you can put the camera behind the vehicle if you have rear-mounted license plates. Here's a diagram of the LPR gate controller's communication. Again, we have TCPIP for network communication. This allows users, as long as they know the IP address of the camera, to access the camera via their web browser on their computer. Also, we have Wiegand output. In the event you like to individually control users entering a parking facility or create time zones, you can have the unit output the user's ID via Wiegand to an external access control panel. The LPR camera also provides 2 digital inputs and 1 digital output. So if you look at how the system flows, the first event necessary is a trigger. In most cases, a parking barrier will have an induction loop that will trigger the camera to take an image of the license plate. At that point, the camera will then invoke its OCR, optical character recognition engine, and look for a match in its database. Assuming a match occurs, a transaction will be recorded, and then either 2 things will happen. Either the LPR will trigger a 12-volt relay, in which case it will open up the barrier immediately, or if you wish to have individual access control of the vehicle operators or set up time zones, instead of opening up a 12-volt relay, you can have a Wiegand output to any third-party panel via Wiegand. In this case, the panel will open up the gate, not the LPR gate controller. The unit is an all-in-one. You get everything you need, including a quick start guide, manuals. We even provide a software development kit for any software companies, such as visitor management development companies, wishing to incorporate our LPR camera with their software. You also get the plug-and-play connectors. So with a single SKU, you get from ZK Access everything you possibly need. The unit comes with a 2-year warranty. You also get technical support and training. Thank you very much. This concludes presentation of the ZK Access license plate recognition gate controller.